Well, it's 6:30 in the morning, so I'm talking a little low. I like coming out this early before the world starts. You feel like you have it to yourself. So last weekend, I pulled up all the tomato plants. I left the basil that I had growing because the bees were still all over it. But I just pulled up the basil this morning because I need to clean out these beds and get the garlic planted and whatever else I'm going to do for the winter. But this basil, though it has some blight and maybe some spider mites on the bottom leaves, the top leaves are pretty good still, which I'm going to harvest and make some more pesto. I'm really happy with the pesto I made last time. You know, I made, I would say a vat of it, put it in some Ziploc bags, flattened it out, put it in the freezer, and now when I make spaghetti sauce, I just break off some chunks, put it in the pan, and presto, I have pesto. But this basil got pretty long and leggy because it was growing up between the tomato plants. And I have more over there, it's all pesto. So now I'm going to plant some garlic in this bed. First, I'm going to finish my coffee. So good. So what I'm planting is music seed garlic from Hudson Valley Seed Company in New York. Last year I got my garlic from Burpee, I believe. And it was good. It was a good harvest, but it was early Italians, it was called. And they weren't all that big. They were big enough, and I still have some. I got a good harvest out of it. But this year I'm going to go for a larger size garlic. And I heard music is pretty popular out there. I need to take another sip of my coffee. Slave to the coffee cup. It's just a leaf. Okay, gonna get started. So they say to put bone meal or blood meal in with your garlic. Last year I didn't do any of that. Last year I just put the garlic straight into the ground in the back garden, in the backyard, and it did pretty good. But now I'm in a raised bed. The soil in it is what's called the Mel's Mix, which is 5 different kinds of compost, some peat moss, and vermiculite. But tomatoes were in here all summer, so I put some more compost in and some bone meal and blood meal. So we'll see how it does. Gonna mix that in. Because I am part vampire, I put a little blood meal in my coffee. Okay, so how I'm going to do the spacing. I'm going to take the largest one out. Okay, and then I have this glass here. Maybe 3 inches in diameter, 4 inches. And the largest one fits pretty good in there. So I want to see how many I'm going to fit across this raised bed. Turn this over. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put 5 across, pointy side up, right in the middle, 3 inches down. I hear people talking. The neighborhood is waking up. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to place these here. Some pretty big ones in here. Oh, I don't want to put it in yet. I just want to see it. Looks like a mess because some of the paper came off. I'm going to have 45 in this bed, and then 45 in that side, and that should be good because I did wish I had more garlic last year. I mean, I still have some left, but I wanted to give more away. But, and the gnats just found me. 3 inches down. Go up to my... Okay, so now I'm putting some hay. I have a little bit of hay that I picked up. And I have straw in the shed I might have to use for other things. Then I'm going to place some chicken wire with some small holes in it over this because last year the squirrels dug up some of the garlic bulbs. So no big deal to just grab some chicken wire now that I have it handy. Place it over this and tack it down with some fabric tacks, like those big long staples. Alright, let's straighten that out. This is the chair I'm sitting on. A simple chair. I actually ordered this on Amazon online from the Amish country. And I have 2 of them. And they're perfect. You can sit on them or you can use them for decoration. I just love handmade, rustic things. So again, I have bone meal and blood meal raked in, though the instructions do say to put it in each hole, but just like the Prairie Girl in Zone 3, I'm just raking it in. Simplify, simplify. Now, as I was raking, I found some of these pods that I used for onions, and I had planted some around the beds throughout the gardens, but I'll tell you, they did not grow. Anything in these did not grow well at all. They say these break down, but they don't break down fast enough. And I'm pretty sure they inhibit plants from growing. So I don't think I'll be planting in these. I mean, I might start seeds in them and then take them off and transplant them, but these are never going in the ground again. Okay, on to the next bed. Okay, so I have 90 cloves planted. I have some bird netting here. I don't know if you can see the chicken wire. And obviously I took my gloves off halfway. I always do that. I start out with gloves. And I don't even remember tearing them off, but somewhere along the way I always do. And I have this brick holding down the chicken wire. There is a piece of wood that goes from this side down to this side, dividing the two beds thinly. But there's nothing planted there, so I can put the brick there. This side completely covered with chicken wire and hay for mulch. We get some pretty cold winters here. Lots of snowstorms. But they'll be fine. This was an extra planter I put here for the zucchinis last year when I thought the other zucchinis wouldn't grow. So I think what I'm going to put in here is some more garlic that I have left over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call my garlic bed. So it's the fall. It's the 29th of September. Going out to a musical festival later. But first there's more cleanup in the garden to do. There's always cleanup in the garden, which is good for you. Get out in the fresh air. Some peppers still growing. And the dew on these leaves is cold. Not frost, but very cold. I think it's in the 50s right now. So we've had a lot of rain the last couple of days. And I mean downpours real fast. So fast that the grounds did not have time to absorb the rain. That our town in Port Jeff was completely flooded and damaged. Every store on the waterfront there. Basements in the neighborhood are flooded. Water had nowhere to go. But today is going to be the first beautiful sunny day. And I'm out in the garden, cleaning up. Right now I want to show you what that new garden took as far as trellises. All these cages and trellises and sticks, poles, came out of this garden. And there's two more there. Let's see, for the yard total I had 37 tomato plants. Over here I had 17. Yeah, 17. I had cucumbers and zucchini. I didn't know the cucumbers vined up. And I had cantaloupe. Didn't know that they vined around too. I don't do my homework. But it was a jungle, and I had to keep running out and buying these trellises to help support everything. So I spent a pretty penny on all this. So first I bought these because some of the peas said they only vine up to 2 feet. Well, they went up to 8 feet and wanted more. Now these trellises, so you can see they have these nice openings in them. pretty good openings where fruit can fit through them. But I used for my cucumbers this trellis. Let's see if you can see. So what do you think the problem is with this trellis? Cucumbers tried to fit through those slots. I had some deformed ones. They were determined, but they were damaged. Let's see if I can show this better. So this trellis, not good for cucumbers or any fruit that might want to try to grow through these little openings. So I spent a lot of money on cages too. These cages were better than the traditional tomato cages because you can make them a square, or you can open them up wide, stick them in the ground if your tomatoes don't get too tall. Well, everybody knows how tall tomatoes get. Was not tall enough. So I don't know, I won't use those again. I'm not using these. This is a joke. I thought I was going to do cucumbers over these. Now, these are held together with some light plastic. Sorry about my fingernails digging in the dirt. With nails in them, and those nails will get you. Anyway, this trellis is useless too. I don't know what vines up so low. Nothing I planted this year. So then I tried to buy the bigger ones. They were okay. The cucumbers went up them and down them. And I had to put like extra string around them for the trellis, for the tendrils to grab onto. And then I had to buy lots of bamboo sticks to help support things as they got bigger. But now I have to find storage for all these, and I need access to my shed, so I've got to clean these up today. Next year, I'm going to get cattle fence, or try these galvanized fences here, which is I can use as an arch. I'm going to stake it on one side, come up over like an arch, come down the other side. Speaking of arches, this is a beautiful $20 arch on Amazon. The cucumbers actually started vining up here, and they got up all the way up to there. So I can buy more of those, or get some cattle fencing, they call it, or use that galvanized fence as one big arch. Support it with these type of metal poles. And I'm going to do cucumbers, zucchinis, tomatoes, all on the arches. What a mess. So, over to this garden. This arch is also perfect for the beans. The only thing with these arches is the rungs are like 18 inches apart. So I put on some string to help them with growing. But arches are the way to go. Here comes the sun. Hold on, I'm swinging you around. So I don't know, I might just, I'll probably use them for other things as we go along next year, and I'm gonna probably hang them on the back fence somewhere. I don't want to junk up the shed with all this stuff. But that's it, lots of fall cleanup. And these tomato cages are great cages, but I wouldn't say for tomatoes. I would say for peppers. What I did with the peppers is I bent the pointy side down and covered them the opposite way. Those worked really good with peppers, but not with the tomatoes. I got so much dirt on the basil, I can't tell which ones are good and which ones are not going to make the cut. So I'm just going to rinse them off.